All we are going to study about channel allocation strategies, which is very important in cellular communication. What is channel allocation? Okay, so what is channel allocation? Channel allocation means to allocate the available channels to the cells in a cellular system. So when a user wants to make a call request, then by using channel allocation strategies, their requests are fulfilled. इसका मतलब कि जब कोई भी यूज़र कॉल या फ़ोन लगाता है तो हमें चैनल की ज़रूरत पड़ती है, और वो किस तरीके से चैनल उस यूज़र को मिलता है उसके बारे में हम पता करेंगे. सो एफिशिएंट यूज़ ऑफ फ्रीक्वेंसीज, टाइम स्लॉट्स एंड बैंडविड्थ. So now what are the types of channel allocation strategies? So the first one is fixed channel assignment. Okay, so in this scheme each cell is allocated in a fixed number of channels. The devices within that cell communicate only through the channels allocated to it. If there are no free channels available, communication cannot take place. This scheme is simple to implement but is the worst channel utilization. Why? Because the user keeps the channel for the whole time, whether it is using or not. So let me explain by using the diagram. Okay, so you can understand it more better. So see, here you can see the diagram which is over here, and in this we are for this illustration purposes only, we are showing three cells. Okay, these hexagonal shaped are the cells. Okay, so this cell is named A, B and C. So this particular A cell has been allocated 20 channels. Okay, has been allocated 20 channels. This B cell has been allocated 5 channels. Okay, 5 channels. And then this C cell has been allocated 10 channels. So any request which comes, it can be accepted by only these channels. Okay, so only 20 channels can be used by this cell A. Suppose more requests have suppose मतलब कि एक जैसे 20 यूज़र से ज़्यादा, मतलब अगर किसी ने रिक्वेस्ट कर दी तो वो 20 से ज़्यादा एक्सेप्ट ही नहीं कर पाएगा, कॉल रिजेक्ट हो जाएगा. तो इसमें क्या होगा? चैनल्स आर एलोकेटेड इन अ मैनर दैट मैक्सिमाइज द फ्रीक्वेंसी reuse. Okay, now what are the advantages of this? The first one is simple to implement. Yes, simple to implement and manage. The second one does not require any complex equipment of algorithms. So the disadvantages are limited channel utilization as unused channels remain unused. Okay, so only it may be possible that only 10 channels are used for the A cell, so rest 10 would be unused, so it will be wastage. So that is why it is disadvantageous to use fixed allocation strategy. Then it is also susceptible to interference and congestion. Okay, and limited channel utilization as unused channels remain unused. If all the channels are assigned are in use, the new call request shall be rejected. This is very important, that if all the channels as assigned are in use, the new call request will be rejected. So this is simply a diagram showing that there are various cells, and these are all the channels that have been allocated in a convergence area. This is simply for understanding purposes. Okay, fixed channel allocation. Now the next one, let us see the next one, the second one. The second one is the dynamic channel allocation. Dynamic. Now what does dynamic mean? A central pool. There is a central pool of the channels. A central pool of channels is managed. Okay, so let me show you through the diagram first. Here's the diagram. Yes, here's the diagram. So there is a central pool of channels. Okay, central pool of channels is there. Several channels over here. Now each of these cells can be allocated depending upon the demand. Okay, so here suppose we are allocating 3 channels, this one requires only 1. Okay, some different cells will be allocated different channels depending upon the demand. Okay, so a central pool of the channels is managed. New calls are assigned to the channels as they arrive in the system. Okay, as the request is made, the channels are assigned. Okay, after each call is completed, the channel is returned to the central pool. So the channel is returned after the call is completed. Okay, 2 cells can be assigned to same channel if the distance between them is sufficient to reduce co-channel interference. Now these schemes can be centralized or distributed. So centralized dynamic allocation scheme involves a single controller selecting a channel for each cell. Distributed one is also there, which involves a number of controllers. So basically there is only a single controller, and here there are several controllers that are scattered across the network. Okay, now what we are doing, uh, this is also important, is a strategy in which the channels are not permanently allocated to the cell. That is why it is known as dynamic, because they are not fixed, or they are not the channels are not permanently allocated to the cells. They are dynamic, that is on demand, or whichever whichever on demand. Basically what, when a user makes a call request, then the base station, what it does, it sends that request to the mobile station MSC for allocation of channels or voice channels. Likelihood of blocking calls. Now in earlier fixed one, what happens, that the call would be blocked if channels are unavailable. But in this one, the dynamic one, this is the major advantage, that blocking of the calls is reduced. Okay, so this is very important. So advantage, what are the advantages? Efficient use of bandwidth. Okay, then reduces call blocking and improves call quality. Then allows for dynamic allocation of resources. Okay, then what are the disadvantages? Requires more complex equipment. Algorithms may result in call drops or poor quality if resources are not available. So this one is for now, then we will study in the next video.